Hey there, my name is Keegan Grandel, and today I'll be presenting my term project for Indigenous Studies 100, taught by Wendy Larat. I've chosen to study the golden eagle hunters of Mongolia because I found their lifestyle and customs to be very interesting, and I've never seen anything like the way the Kazakh live. I'd like to take this opportunity to correct something in my proposal. Initially, I wanted to show how tourism has affected the hunting seasons, but there wasn't enough evidence to support this. So instead, I'm just going to show what the impacts of tourism are overall. Here's a quick overview of this presentation. Firstly, I'll provide some background information on the Kazakh people, where they live, what they do, etc. Secondly, I'll delve into the relationships they have with their animals and the process of hunting and training with a golden eagle. Thirdly, I'll showcase how the hunting festivals are run. Next, I'll show how colonization and the tourism industry have affected the Kazakh peoples, and then unveil some similar situations Indigenous people have in Canada. Lastly, I'll share how I felt researching this group of people and a few extra things I learned along the way. So who are the Kazakh? They're a group of nomads living on the western side of the Altai mountain range in Mongolia. They practice the ancient art of golden eagle hunting, a tradition upheld by nomads for over 4,000 years. Generally, the men of the tribe do the actual hunting. Women usually do not hunt as they are at home dealing with matters like farming, household activities, and taking care of any children. Very old-fashioned concept in our Western view, but alive and well for the Kazakh people. The Altai mountain range, as previously mentioned, spans from southern Russia to western Mongolia. The temperatures around this area vary from minus 40 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius depending on the time of the year. The Kazakh people live in gur tents, also known as yurts. These structures are made from sticks of bamboo and animal pelts, and with such a simple structure it allows for portability. This is important as the Kazakh people move roughly 3 times every year. The Kazakh people live off the land, taking in its resources and using the bare necessities to get by. It's a very admirable way of life, and most people are so used to living in the modern world with technology at our disposal, processed food, and easy access to amenities like electricity. But the nomads live far away from civilization, isolated because they need to hunt and train the eagles, and they couldn't be happier doing it. The process of becoming a sayachi, the Kazakh term for an eagle hunter, is a very difficult, daunting task, and requires extremely high levels of patience. You cannot become a hunter through the purchase of a golden eagle. You must capture one from its natural habitat. The sayachi risk their lives for these birds. They climb up the mountains to where the eagle's nest is located, and then they take an eagle. They choose them based on 2 attributes. The first, the eagle needs to be female. Female golden eagles tend to be more vicious than the male, making them the better hunters. Secondly, the eagles must be at least 4 years old. This is to ensure that the eagle will be able to fly, and that they're young enough that domesticating them will be easier. Before the training can begin, a bond of trust between the sayachi and the eagle must be established. In order for this to happen, the eagle must accept food from the hunter. Once the food has been taken, the training can finally begin. Now there's a reason the sayachi need to have such a great amount of patience for the training. It takes course over 5 years, during which the eagles live with the hunters, and the two develop a close bond. While training, hunters need to take care not to abuse and be very gentle with the eagles. Golden eagles don't forget or forgive abuse, and the next time there's a hunt, they might not come back. Due to this, eagles are presented with great pride in the household, as the relationship between man and eagle is one based on mutual respect. The relationship a sayachi has with his horse is a bit more relaxed and distant than his relationship with the eagle. While the eagles tend to be more prominently displayed inside the home and with the hunter at all times, the horses run free and live outside the home. They are free to do as they wish, but understand when playtime is over and when the hunt begins. The Sayachi view breeding horses as essential to the hunt, because without their horse, they would not be able to keep up with their eagles in the hunts. They also deem this incredibly important because to them, having a horse is of the same necessity that we have cars. They also play an important role in hunting festivals, because some of the events don't actually involve the eagles. I'll expand more on this in the upcoming slides about the festival. The Sayachi hold festivals for eagle hunters all over Mongolia every year. It's very common that a hunter cannot pay the travel cost, so the organizers pay for them to come. This festival is not so much about competing or winning. It helps connect other Sayachi with each other and enables them to connect with their roots more. There are two parts of every festival. The first tests the Sayachi's ability to effectively communicate with his eagle using signals to determine where the prey is, as well as the eagle's ability to spot its target. A fox skin is attached to a horse, which is galloping far away. The eagles are hooded so they cannot see prior to their turn, and once the hood is lifted, the Sayachi launch their eagles into the air. They cannot catch the fox skin, or simply do not see it and fly back to the ground. They are disqualified from competing. This first part eliminates many opponents. The second tests the eagle's ability to catch live prey. A small animal, like a fox or a hare, is procured prior to the competition, and when the round starts, they are let go into the hunting area. The eagle who catches it the fastest is the winner. If an eagle cannot catch the prey, they are disqualified. Another smaller part in the competition is a good old-fashioned game of tug-of-war. The Sayachi mount their horses and attempt to steal wolf skin from its opponent, without the help of their eagles. In recent years, the festival has become a tourist attraction. Companies like Nomadic Expeditions specialize in excursions to many countries, and the trip to Mongolia has the Eagle Festival on its itinerary. Though the festival has always been open for tourists to attend, some may agree that such a sacred art shouldn't be exploited and showcased in such a way. With journalists constantly approaching the Sayachi, at some point it must get on their nerves, but that's just my speculation. For the 2 days the festival takes place, spectators are charged $30, and all proceeds go to the Berkut Association, which is the festival's organizer. The Sayachi run into a problem though when animal rights activists strongly oppose their entire way of life. Pitting an animal against one another for your own personal gain not only raises a moral issue that these activists are very strongly against, they claim that keeping animals in captivity is abuse and that they torture and slaughter animals for the sake of these competitions and training programs. Even though the Kazakh live in isolation, they're still under the rule of the Mongolian government. As a result, if a Sayachi wants to legally own an eagle, he must have a passport for it. These passports are very difficult to obtain, and the officials know this, so they often turn a blind eye to infractions. The hunting festivals have not only been affected by tourism, but also by colonization. On account of the claims made by the animal rights activists, it drew the attention of the authorities, which actually caused them to distance themselves from this festival somewhat, making their relationship with the Sayachi even more complicated and strenuous. Then there's the issue of poaching. What the Kazakh are doing is on a very fine line of legal hunting and illegal poaching of animals. This has to do with the passport again. If they don't have the passport for their eagle, technically they are poaching these animals. But how can you poach something if it's simply using the resources that are rightfully yours? The passports necessary for the Kazakh people to legally own these animals is easily applicable to the pass system instituted in Canada in 1885. This was a program instituted by the Department of Indian Affairs because John A. Macdonald was displeased with the low immigration numbers. Now I know it sounds strange that such a radical white supremacist would be concerned with low immigration, but he wanted to control the indigenous population so he could keep the farmers in Saskatchewan safe. Not that that justifies his behavior. The pass system restricted the indigenous population from having access to their land, leaving them unable to hunt for their food or do business with outside traders unless they had permission from their Indian agent. The Indian agent needed to sign the pass in order for anyone to leave the reserve, and very often, to have a pass signed, the residents needed to walk for many days to the Indian agent's house to get permission for something, not knowing if the answer would be a yes or a no. Denying people of things rightfully bestowed to them has no justification whatsoever. I feel very fortunate that I was able to research the Kazakh people. The community was so interesting, and although it had rather limited information, I learned so much about such an incredible culture. I believe more than anything, this project only made me realize why the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is such an integral part in the decolonizing of Canada. These issues affect people in our country on a daily basis, and we should be doing what we can to help in any way possible. It has really opened my eyes as well to know how resilient the Indigenous population is, going through all of the things they had at the hands of our predecessors and continuing to fight to take down an institutionalized concept is inspiring. Decolonizing Canada is really the only way we can rebuild and restore a good relationship with each other. Thank you for watching. Take care.